Yeah, 모두 다 빨리 박수 쳐 기다리지 말고 서둘러 Reason that I'm back is to feed you raps Let's see that you up here below So fly
Welcome, Steve. I got a great topic for us today. Stephen A. Smith is in hot water with the black community, as you like to say. Roland Martin, the NAACP. Everybody's mad at Stephen A. Smith because he went on Sean Hannity's show and said black people can relate to Donald Trump because the criminal justice system is mistreating him. This has set off explosions everywhere. Let's watch Stephen A. Smith explain himself.
About how black folks, he's hearing that black folks find him relatable because what he's going through is similar to what black Americans have gone through. He wasn't lying. He was telling the truth. When you see the law enforcement, the court system, and everything else being exercised against him, it is something that black folks throughout this nation can relate to with some of our historic, iconic figures. We've seen that happen throughout society. So no matter what race, what ethnicity you may emanate from, we relate to you when you're suffering like that because we know we have. And that's what he articulated.
Needless to say, people were in a tizzy over that. And why were they in the tizzy over that exactly? Because it's being portrayed and misconstrued that I'm saying that Trump's plight relates to black people. Well, it's easy to take things out of context, which is why I love having my own platform, so I can remedy and correct some of the foolhardiness that's put out there. First things first, Sean Hannity asked me the question about Trump gaining traction with the black vote, and how whether it's a couple of points or 3 points or 4 points, that it could end up tilting the election in his favor that's upcoming this November. Yes, he's the presumptive GOP nominee. Yes, he's on trial for a hush money case to a porn star. Yes, he recently lost a civil suit for $454 million, where he had to pay about $175 million or something like that up front, okay? Yes, the man has had 4 indictments against him, 91 counts against him. Still running, though. Still a presumptive GOP nominee, though. And by the way, as I pointed out, has gained traction and is ahead of the incumbent, President Joe Biden, in at least 5 polls. Not all of the polls, but at least 5 polls have Trump ahead. Now, before I go a bit further, getting into us as black people, because we know how we can be now, okay?
Steve, what do you make of all that? What is Stephen A. Smith doing here? He's all off in the political landscape, I guess trying to build up his YouTube channel. That's my thought, or what his real goal is here.
You know, Jason, I think he's playing this game of giving, I don't know if you call it a taciturn endorsement of Trump, but he's basically saying all the reasons why we need to get off the Democratic, I don't want to use that term, but the Democratic Party. Okay, but then he won't go all the way in. He'll dip his little toe in, but he won't do Greg Louganis. Okay, and here's the thing. If you're going to make statements like that, which are very bold, you have to be able to take the heat. And Stephen A. Smith is realizing this is much different than debating whether LeBron James is greater than Michael Jordan. More people seem to be passionate about it. I would assume it's more important than sports. This is my problem with people like Roland Martin, who believe that there should be a monolithic voting pattern or thought process with anybody, whether it's your own people or any other racial or ethnic group. Don't be upset at Stephen A. Smith for amplifying his own view. If you have that much of a problem with it, Jason, we have seen the footage of people in certain communities going out there wearing Trump shirts with the mugshot. Okay, so obviously there's at least a grain of truth to what Mr. Smith is saying. Okay, so with that being said, then, Roland Martin should go out into the streets, take a camera, get a microphone, and ask those people, why are you wearing that T-shirt? How do you feel politically? Because at the end of the day, Stephen A. Smith has a big voice, big platform, certainly has a little bit of fame. He's just one vote, okay? So he needs to go out to these communities that he says he cares so much about, and the black people that he says are his, right? Okay, ask them, why are they wearing that T-shirt? Why do they relate, if they do at all?
Yeah, the gatekeepers, groups like the NAACP, Roland Martin, the correctional officers, as I pointed out earlier this week about Stephen Jackson, is just their job is to make sure that anybody black in the public space, we're all on the same note and all saying the same thing. And, oh, how dare you pretend like a group of people that have been convinced that their life story in America is directly tied to injustice in the criminal justice system can't relate to a president who appears to be going through an injustice in the criminal justice system. This whole argument that people, black people in particular, can't relate to what Trump is going through, it's a joke. Why Stephen A. Smith has jumped into this, I guess, he's saying Sean Hannity asked him, but when I look at everything that Stephen A. Smith is doing in the political space, because he always, you call it a tactic endorsement of Trump, but he, generally speaking, always buttons his comments by saying, but I'm not voting for Trump, or I'm saying all this, but I'm not voting for Trump. And that's what I find dishonest, and or it's like it's a strategy he and Bill Maher have kind of perfected. Let me throw a little red meat out here so that I can be like, hey, Michael Jordan, Republicans buy sneakers too. And hey, Republicans are on YouTube too, seems to be what Stephen A. Smith is saying. Yeah. And so I'm going to throw them and say, I'm the acceptable black liberal because I'll say a few things that even you guys agree with. It seems more like a tactic strategy by Stephen A. Smith to expand his audience and to expand even on ESPN, not just his YouTube, but he's trying to throw out an olive branch to conservatives who he knows hate ESPN.
Jason, in my view, what Stephen A. Smith doing is a little bit of cowardice. I mean, you're giving all these reasons why you might lean a certain way in November. And again, I'm not going to get into who my endorsement is. No one cares. It's not anyone's business. And I'm not in that position. But there's something he's not saying. Beyond how Trump is being treated by our judicial system or the public perception, here's the elephant in the room. Biden's presidency, to a lot of people, has been ridiculously farcical and bad. When it's all said and done, this is what people care about in America. The economy, and then the economy. Okay, those three issues are all kind of connected in one way or the other, whether it's local, state, or personal. You care about the economy, the price of gasoline, or the price of groceries when you go there every other week. Those things impact Americans every single day. And now you add on to the fact of the immigration and border policies. We see the news. We are not blind. And then here's another issue. When you take a look at this whole leaving the Democratic Party, I said party, even at the local level, you take a look at Brandon Johnson in Chicago, all these super city girl mayors, what's going on. Karen Bass, another one of these highly liberal lefty mayors, she got broken into, our mayor of LA. I wonder if she's saying squatters' rights at this point. I mean, so when you take a look at the worldview and from a local perspective of every individual in America, they may not admit it, but we are not better off. At least this is what I believe. We are not better off than we were about 5-6 years ago. And I think that is the bigger issue. See, I'm kind of with people that are offended by why should we relate to Trump based on criminal charges and persecution? I kind of get that, but I think there's something more that's important. People don't like the state of this country right now.
I agree with you. Thank you, Steve. Great job. We'll see you again later this week. Hey, thank you, Cardio Miracle, for allowing us to do this segment. Support healthy blood flow and deliver more vitamins, nutrients, and minerals to your entire body. Get started now for a healthier, happier you by visiting cardiomiracle.com/fearless. Receive 10% off your first order, 15% if you choose to subscribe and save. They also offer a 60-day, no-risk, 100% money-back guarantee. Cardio Miracle is great, does great things for virtually everything, but it certainly is going to help your blood flow and your arteries. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed that video, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe so you never miss a moment of Fearless.